Dear friends, welcome to the session on risk management. On completion of this session, you will be able to elucidate different types of risks in project management, and you will be able to illustrate the steps of managing risks. The session has three components: concept of risk management, types of risks, and management of risks. Now, at the very outset, we have to understand what is risk management. And the International Organization for Standardization has put forth one of the most widely accepted definition of risk management. According to this definition, risk management refers to the architecture that is used to manage risks, and here the term architecture include a risk management process, a risk management framework, and the risk management principles. Here we have to understand clearly what is risk, and again, according to the definition of ISO, risk is the effect of uncertainty on objectives, and here its effect is a positive or negative deviation from what is expected. And according to this definition, now risk is no longer only the probability of misfortune or adversity. Risk can be an opportunity too. Now we will learn different types of risks in project management, and there are several classifications on the risks. However, we will discuss some of the most common types of risks, and one of that is operational risks, which include breakdown of machines, variation in efficiency due to variation in supply or availability of raw materials, and also another one is shortfall or excess in availability of service. And now this shortfall of availability of service is one of the critical risks in agricultural projects because of the migration of agricultural labor from the to the industrial sector. The second type of risk is the market risks, and there are many market risks, including the changes in demand and supply of raw materials, demand of products, enhancement of competition in market, then changes in sales of products, change in sale of service. The third type is economic risks, changes in global and national economy, including the recession in economy, changes in inflation rate, new economic policies and strategies are risks to the project management. The fourth type of risks, most common and applicable to all types of projects, is the financial risks, changes in interest rate and cost of capital. Because if interest rate is changed, all the financial feasibility criteria or parameters will be changed, including the internal rate of return, return on equity, return on investment, profitability index, etc. Another type of risk is technological risks, and it is becoming quite crucial and critical because of rapid changes in technologies in all sectors, including the agricultural sector. A technology today may be obsolete within a couple of years. Then another risk is commercial risk, and it is more critical in the projects which deals with the buying and selling of goods and also in production, and that is why a commercial risks are critical in agricultural products too, because it involves insolvent business debtors, discontinuation of dealings including discontinuation of buying and selling, discontinuation of contracts and relationship and mischievous dealings. Another type nowadays becoming quite important, that is quality risks. Changes in quality of raw material and produce due to unseen reasons. There are so many criteria now. Most of the companies and projects use to determine the quality of raw material and produce, and there can be any change with little change in other factors. Now another type of risk is legal or regulatory risks. Any change in regulation or legislations relating to a project can affect it to a great extent. Say for example, if there is a legislation passed in a country on transportation of fish, then our fish industry or any project on fish production or fish selling can be affected to a great extent. Now another one type of risk is becoming very important at the international level, that is international risks. Changes in foreign exchange rate, changes in international prices, tariffs, duties, transaction cost, advent of new policies, program, legislation, change, international political situation, war, all can in fact pose great risks to the projects, particularly which are relating to the international affairs. Now we are coming to the second section of the session, and that is managing risks. There are so many or several approaches of risk management. Here we will discuss only one, which include 8 steps. First one, identification of risks, mapping causes and constraints. Third is quantifying the risks. Fourth, analyzing alternatives. Fifth, selecting best alternative. Sixth, creating risk management plan. 7, implementing plan, and last one, review and evaluation. Now we will discuss only some tips on each of these steps. In first step, that is risk identification, we have to look for identifying risks of all types. Then in second step, mapping causes and constraints, we should use the relevant techniques which include 5 whys, fishbone diagram, project introspections. And for bigger projects, nowadays several software are available for this step. The third step is quantifying risks, and it is more crucial for in case of financial risks. It is determining magnitude and judging manageability of risks, particularly relating to the financial risks, and software and models are available to determine the magnitude of the magnitude of risks, particularly of finance. The fourth step is exploring alternative. We have to explore alternative of managing risks that has been identified by the earlier 3 steps. And here one critical requisite is knowledge on different methods of risk management, and we will discuss different methods of risk management as last part of this session. The fifth step is selecting best alternative, and here 2 things has to be kept in mind: that feasibilities relating to the finance and feasibilities relating to production, feasibilities relating to conditions, and Another criteria we have to take into account is cost effectiveness, and for bigger project again, for selecting best alternatives, analytical tools are applied. Next step is risk management plan, and in any plan should answer basically the what has to be done and how, and there should be a master plan for all the risks to be managed in a project. And for this step also, for bigger projects, sophisticated tools are used. Step number 7 is implementation of plan, and here two things are important: coordination and periodical review. There must be coordination among different sections, and there must be periodical reviews, because usually risk management particularly is overlooked in general. The last step is the review and evaluation, and probably you know already that the review and evaluation should answer some of the basic questions, which include how well the risk managed, what contributed positively, what played a part negatively, what to repeat and what not, what lessons learned. Now coming to the last part of the session, that is method of risk management. The first method, as the most common, is mitigation, taking measures to reduce occurrence or consequence of risks. And here one term relating to mitigation is becoming quite popular in agricultural projects, that is resilience, which means enabling mitigation of consequences of any disaster that do occurs. The next method is sharing of projects or its part with some other firm using joint venture, and this is done usually when there is arousal of high risks. The third method is outsourcing. Nowadays this method is becoming quite popular, contracting out activities to third party, and it is generally practiced as cost saving measures and as a measure to avoid burdensome regulations. Now fourth method is diversification. Now this is very actually important and applicable to our agricultural projects. It is diversification means encompassing multi enterprises. Also it also implies that inclusion of new products, new markets. Now fifth method is retention, keeping risks unaddressed with readiness to accept loss or benefit. Then next is contingency funding, keeping fund reserved for additional cost due to inflation or other non-predicted cost, and it is one of the most common method practiced in corporate sectors. Now time buffer is another method which not only helps in risk management but also helps in gaining efficiency in an innovative manner. Time buffers is provisioning protection against delay, and it also helps in avoiding hurriedness or chaos. It provides adequate flexibility in working, and it leads to utilize surplus time in innovative effort. Bringing a project in on time can be like threading a needle on a sailboat during a typhoon, as said by Bonny in 2013, and that's indicate how important the time buffer method of risk management is. Then another method or last method we are going to discuss is the abandonment. abandoning whole project or certain component due to too high risks. And however, abandonment method can be used only when exit is possible. That is, sometimes some obligations may compel a project management to continue a project even with high loss, even with the unfavorable circumstances. Thank you very much.